Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about ferro rod strikers. Now, you can use a lot of things to strike a ferro rod. For example, I have here a piece of a file, okay? We have here this beautiful handle turned by Nathan 4071, has a high-speed striker in it. You can use the back of a knife. You could probably use a sharp rock or piece of glass, I mean, in an emergency. There's quite a few ways you can use, make use of material. Like they even have ceramic strikers, like brother Andy over at Mad Dog Survival Cells. But for what I use high-speed steel strikers. Now, they make these with 10% cobalt added, and different types of material in them to make them even harder. But I find the regular high-speed steel is sufficient for what I use it for. Now, as far as how I get these, I buy them on Amazon, and it's a company called Unicell. I think it's Unisell or something like that, but Unicell. If you type in high-speed steel strikers or high-speed steel lathe strikers, they'll all pop up. Okay, now this one here is a 1/4 inch by 2.5 inch. Okay, and you can see Nathan buried this in pretty good, probably about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we'll get to that towards the end of the video. So now what I do is instead of buying the 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch by 2.5 inch, which will cost you about $16 or more, maybe about $17. You get 5 of them, okay? That's pretty pricey. So what I do is I buy them, give you an example here, in millimeters. And then I cut them. So I get one of these, which is 200 millimeters, and I end up with 3 that are just a tad over 2.5 inches, okay? So this particular one is 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters by 200 millimeters, okay? So I'll give you a little comparison once I get this other one open. And this one is 6 millimeters by 6 millimeters by 200 millimeters, okay? So if you look at the conversions, a 5 millimeter is 1.97 inches, just over 3/16. The 6 millimeter is 2.36 inches, just a tad under 1/4 of an inch, okay? So the 200 millimeter length is 7.87. So if you divide that by 3, you get 2.62. So just a little over 2.5, which is perfect. So just to give you a reference, a 1/4 inch is 6.35 millimeters, okay? So it's only 0.35 millimeters smaller than a 1/4 inch ferro rod. So like I said, you'll get 5 of these. These 1/4 inch ones cost me, I want to say $16, 16.5 bucks, something like that, $16.50. So if you do the math, you cut this down to 3, you're going to have 15 of these, because it comes 5 in a package. So you'll get 15 of them for $16.50, versus the cheapest I could find, the 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, which is the same exact material, except they're pre-cut. The cheapest I saw that was about $16.50 after it was shipped for 5. Okay, so obviously you do the math, this is the way to go. And what I do is I cut them with a Dremel tool with a flex shaft, okay? The one I happen to have is a Wen Dremel tool. Now, if you don't have a Dremel tool, well, maybe one of your friends do, or you're in a market for one, This Dremel tool set, which comes in a case, uh, the flex tool, and some accessories, is on sale on Amazon for under 20 bucks. I've had this one for 4 years. I bought it back in 2020, and I absolutely love it. It is well worth the money. I'm actually thinking of buying another one and just put it away. So however long this lasts, if it's 10 years, 15 years, and it dies out on me, I'll have a spare. But that's yet to be seen. So let me show you how I do this. So like I said, you got about 2.6 inches. So just to make it easy on myself, instead of measuring it out with a ruler, I made a little template, okay? So I'll take this, I'll grab a Sharpie, I'll just put it on the end, make myself a little mark. And again, this is not rocket science here. You're not building a spaceship, so you got to divide it into 3, okay? Now, if you do have a rotary tool and you don't have a flex shaft, woo, that one's going flying. When you have this cutoff wheel directly into the Dremel tool, you can't get a very good cut. So you'll have to kind of go all the way around so that you don't cut it at an angle. Not that that would really matter. But by having this flex shaft, as you can see, you can get down pretty straight, okay? And this will cut, this wheel will cut about 3, maybe 2 of these rods before this is worn out so much that you're gonna have to hold it on an angle, all right? So let's get over to the bench. Let me cut up a bunch of these and I'll bring you back. All right, so I'm over at the bench. I have these little aluminum vise inserts that I had made. I got a video on that somewhere. And I'll place this into the vise. Start up my rotary tool. Make sure you got some kind of eye protection. I use a full face mask because these cutoff discs will break. And there you have it. I'll cut off the next one. I'll meet you back at the bench. All right, so you see how we end up with 3 pieces cut. So now, how would you mount these in? Again, like I said, you don't have to cut it at all. You could do a wrap around it, like a paracord wrap, and just leave it the full length. If you don't have a Dremel tool or a rotary tool, or you don't want to cut it, you just want to use it, it's as simple as that, you're done. As far as what I do, I want to show you here. I have a 1/4 inch hole, and you say to yourself, well, this is less than 1/4 of an inch. right? But you got to remember it's square. So you're not getting a square rod into a round hole. Okay, but you can drill a 5/16 hole for these rods, and it fits pretty perfect in there. You got a little bit of resistance, and you're going to epoxy it in, and you'd be done. Okay, so 5/16 hole will give you a nice fit. Okay, if you want to take it a little further, and you have a grinder or a belt sander, you could do what I did right here and just nip off those corners. Okay, now it will fit into a 1/4 inch hole, and it will be very tight. So you're going to have a lot of friction fit, and I'm going to show you what I do. I'll take a brass hammer, start tapping it in, and you're going to see it starts to square up the hole. If I hit this on the table, it's going to vibrate the whole table. But hey, now that thing is in there pretty dang tight. It doesn't need a lot of epoxy. Okay, let me see if I can wiggle this out so I can show you what the hole looks like. And you can see it squares up the hole pretty good. Okay, so that's one way of two ways of doing it. Let me put this back in. Let me grab another one. So it all depends on what you want your finished piece to look like. Do you want it to look like you actually made a square hole, or do you want to see the epoxy? Again, it's just aesthetics, but it's as simple as that. Another way you could is just pick up a regular old file handle. These are pretty cheap. You can buy them on Amazon. You could buy them at Ace. A lot of places sell these, and you could just make the hole whatever size you need. You could put the 5/16 hole in it or the 1/4 inch hole. This one happens to have a 5mm striker in it, and you're good to go. Little epoxy, and just another little reminder, anytime you epoxy these, clean them off with some denatured alcohol or acetone, because they come with oil on them. Okay, so you got that, and a 1/4 inch size. Basically, the 6mm is, for all intents and purposes, a 1/4 inch size. So there you have it. That's how I make my high-speed steel strikers, where I get them, and how I process them. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned something from this. Let me know if you have any questions down below. You know I'm going to say it. I'm sending you all much, much love and appreciation, my brothers and sisters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.